Of course, there are hundreds and more than likely thousands of Bitcoin Faucet websites around the web today. I mean, a simple Google search will throw up plenty. But the question here is, which one should you spend your time on, and more importantly, trust? Because a lot of them are simply a waste of time. So in this lecture, I'll run you through the best Bitcoin faucets on the web today. So the first faucet we have in front of us is free Bitcoin. Now these guys pay out hourly, and it's anything between 318 satoshis to 0.318 BTC. And as mentioned, they pay out hourly, which is pretty regular. Now with this faucet, do be aware that their payouts are tied to $200 worth of Bitcoin. So naturally, due to the way the Bitcoin ecosystem is, it can fluctuate and down as the prices of Bitcoin changes by the minute. Now next up we have 777 Bitcoin. As mentioned, they pay out hourly, and it's anything between 518 satoshis to 0.518 BTC. Now this site is a relatively new faucet, and it uses the same model as the previous faucet, where they tie payouts to $200 in Bitcoins. But at this moment in time, the payouts tend to be focused towards the lower end of the estimations. However, do expect this to change over time as the faucet becomes more established. Now let's move on to the next faucet, which is USA Faucet. Now this site doesn't pay out hourly like the previous ones I mentioned. This one pays out every 4 hours. In regards to payouts, this faucet pays out between 1,200 satoshis to 48 million satoshis. Yeah, it's a big number. Just so you're aware, this is another new faucet, and it's run by the same team over at Renner Faucets. Now, as I've gone over, their payouts are huge, which of course is a bonus for all of us right here looking to use the sites. Next up, we have Bitcoin Zebra. Now this faucet is a quite fun faucet website because you can win anything between 100 to 1,000 satoshis per visit. They also offer bonus opportunities as well. Now this faucet pays out hourly, so I just want to make that clear. Now we have a faucet that pays out every 5 minutes, and it's this faucet over here, Moon Bitcoin. Now they do pay out every 5 minutes as mentioned, but the amount they pay out because of this does vary, and it is a relatively new twist to traditional faucet sites. Now the twist comes as they add one new satoshi every second, which in turn slows down as it goes of course. Now, to get the most satoshis, it is advised to collect every 5 minutes, but if you wait even longer, you could collect even more. Now let's move on to daily free bits. Now this is probably the most straightforward faucet we've visited yet, and it pays out up to 1,200 satoshis per visit. Now payouts do vary, but many people have reached the top mark many times, and recently this has become an hourly faucet, so it pays out by the hour. Now we have a faucet that pays out up to 1,000 satoshis every 10 minutes. Yeah, that's right, every 10 minutes. But also includes a jackpot for bonus Bitcoin, so you can always get more. Now as you can see, this site is Gold's Day. As mentioned, they pay out up to 1,000 satoshis. In fact, it's between 150 satoshis to 1,000 satoshis, so anything in between those figures. Now, in regards to the jackpot I said they run, well, this pays out up to several million satoshis approximately every 2 days or so. So basically, the more you'll play, the less you'll win per visit. Remember, with this site, it pays out via ePay, which in turn pays out once a week. So do factor that in if you intend on using this site. Next up we have coin collecting. Now this site is run by the exact same people who run Gold's Day, so it does work in a similar way. Now the payout time is the same every 10 minutes, but the amount they pay out is different. With this site of theirs, the payout is between 111 to 999 satoshis, and that's every 10 minutes. As with their other site, they pay out via ePay, so exactly the same here. Here we have another faucet owned by exactly the same people, so that's 3 faucets owned by them now. But this one's called Starsbit. Similar to before, the payout is every 10 minutes and they pay out via ePay. However, the average payouts on this site are between 33 satoshis to 999 satoshis. Now let's move on to the next site, which is CoinPro. Now this site is pretty unique because it pays out in a lot of cryptocurrencies. Now I know I mentioned I was only going to cover Bitcoin faucets, but this site is a Bitcoin faucet as well as others, so it's made this lecture. Now once again, here is another unique fact about this site. All you have to do is sign up to get daily cryptocurrencies. Nothing else. Just sign up. By the way, if you can refer other people to the site, you'll get a very nice bonus as well. So this is definitely a site worth checking out. In regards to their payouts and timings, these are currently unconfirmed as they do vary frequently. But this site doesn't require much in terms of effort from you, so I definitely say it's worth checking out. Next up we have CrocoCoin. Now amazingly this site has been said to pay up to 1 whole Bitcoin out. But when they say that, it does range from 100 satoshis to, as I mentioned, the 1 whole Bitcoin. Now their payout time is every 30 minutes. Now the odds of getting 1 whole Bitcoin aren't exactly revealed on the site, but I've known people to get 10,000 satoshis 4 times in a row, so it could be worth your time, this site. Just so you're aware, they do require an email address from you in order to register. Now we have the appropriately named Daily Bitcoins, whose hourly payouts range from 50 satoshis to 100,000 satoshis. But there are about 800 or so bonus prizes every single day that do and can pay out up to 10,000 satoshis. But I have been told that these have recently been reduced per visit, so that's something to factor in when using this site. Right, we've nearly got to the end of my recommended faucet sites now, but there's still one to go. So here we have Coin Checking. Now this site pays out every 5 minutes and the payout is between 30 satoshis to 100,000 satoshis. Now payouts on this site are based on a random number generator. Now you hit a bonus on average of 1 in 18 spins, so it's very fast. So there you have it. My list of recommended Bitcoin faucet sites you should be checking out. Now of course there are hundreds and even thousands more on the internet, but these sites are taken from my personal experience and ones I would recommend because, let's face it, we haven't got the time to sit through thousands of websites, so it's best to aim for the 20% to get 80% of the results rather than aim for the 80% and get 20% of the results. Also, before we move on to the next lecture, I just want to show you this website here, which is bitcoinfaucetrelay.com. Now this is a really good site to keep an eye on as they update the statuses of Bitcoin faucet websites around the web, so you can ensure all these new ones that pop up and other existing faucets are trusted before you hop on and start to earn your Bitcoins from them. So this is definitely a website worth bookmarking and keeping an eye on. So there are 3 things you should keep in mind when using Bitcoin faucet websites. These 3 points I'm going to go over in turn, become hacks to maximising income potential with faucets, as well as minimising time spent on them and any security issues. So I'll start from the top with payouts. Now I'm sure this will come as an obvious point to you, but you only really want to focus on the faucet websites that offer the most in terms of payout. As well as offering the most, you want one where they pay out regularly and reliably do so no false claims. Because rather than using a faucet website that, let's say, offers one whole Bitcoin as a payout, but they don't state when they pay out, and when they do it's a long time in between each one, you see, if that was the case, personally, and what I would advise, is that you rather use a faucet that paid out, let's say, 0.01 Bitcoin regularly and reliably, because that will be worth my time. Rather than playing a guessing game, you'd be betting on a sure thing. So that's my first hack with payouts. Stick with the most frequent, reliable, and highest possible paying faucet. Next up, we have security. This is an important one, especially in today's age with a lot of viruses, malware, and so on attacking computers online. So as with any website, stay safe online by only visiting and using faucets that have been approved. I would also encourage you, if you haven't already, install some antivirus software. Now you see, there are some faucets out there that rely heavily on pop-up ads. Unfortunately, sometimes once clicked, these do harm to your computer. Now, I've not suggested you visit any of these sites on this course, but if you do go, let's say, free roaming on other faucet sites, follow all the guidelines with staying safe online. If something seems spammy, don't click it. Type the website address into Google beforehand and follow that with reviews. You can then read some reviews on the site to see how legitimate it is before steaming ahead onto it. So do your homework if you're going to be visiting other faucet sites. And finally, my last hack is, what do they want from you? There are some faucets out there that want you to enter your email only once, and then they'll send you Bitcoins daily automatically. Whereas there are others, and more than the latter, that require you to visit regularly to build up your Bitcoins in order to get paid out. Now most of them will be just asking to enter your Bitcoin address. Some will also ask for your email, and others will want you to do something on the site like roll the dice. So figure out what the site wants from you. Perhaps you don't have the time to visit the sites all the time. If so, your best bet would be to use the faucets that don't need you to visit regularly. And they do all the work for you, even if it means taking a slight cut in payment in terms of Bitcoin over other sites. So this hack is all about figuring out what works best for you, then narrowing down some faucet sites. More than likely from the ones I went over in the last lecture, which you can then visit and use. Remember, whichever ones work best for you, stick to them. Now of course you can always look for your own faucets as well. So use the website I mentioned in the last lecture to check out other faucets if you want to kind of expand your horizons in terms of earning Bitcoins online with faucet websites.